Welcome back, my dear subscribers. Do you ever wonder about the untold stories behind your favorite celebrities? Do you ever think, what is it that they're hiding beneath their polished public images? Can they truly be perfect, or do they have vulnerabilities, just like the rest of us? What happens when the glitz and glamour fade away and the real person behind the fame steps forward, raw and unguarded? What would it take for someone like Yaman, a star adored by millions, to drop his walls and share something deeply personal? If you've been curious about these questions, get ready for a revelation that might just change the way you see one of Turkey's most famous stars. In today's episode of Magazine News and Gossip, we'll take you behind the scenes of Yaman's life, into the heart of a man who has been hiding his true emotions for so long. This isn't just another celebrity gossip story. This is the story of vulnerability, truth, and the courage it takes to love without fear. Keep reading, because what you're about to uncover is far more than what the world has seen in the tabloids. Yaman is no stranger to the spotlight. With his chiseled features, captivating eyes, and undeniable charm, he has conquered both the Turkish television industry and international audiences. Known for his incredible acting talent and his heartthrob status, Can has made headlines for years. Whether he's on set filming a new hit series or making waves on social media with his posts, he's always in the public eye. But behind those perfect photos and the star-studded events, Yaman is just like any other man. He has dreams, struggles, fears, and, just like any human being, a heart that's been broken before. For years, Yaman's private life remained a well-guarded secret. Fans would speculate about his relationships, but Ken, known for his reserved personality, never gave much away. His love life remained a mystery, hidden away from the prying eyes of the media. That is, until one fateful night when, in a moment of vulnerability, Yaman decided to reveal a side of himself that no one had ever seen before. It all started innocently enough. A casual night out with close friends, sharing drinks and stories. The evening unfolded like so many others, but something changed. The atmosphere seemed to ease him, and for the first time in a long time, Ken let his guard down. As the night grew deeper, so did his conversation. What was initially lighthearted and fun suddenly took a turn. And that's when it happened. Ken, in a drunken state, began to speak freely about his emotions, his heart, and the love life he had long kept hidden. He shared things that not even his closest friends knew. The words that came from him were not just surprising, but deeply revealing. "I've always kept my feelings inside," he confessed. "It's easier this way, safer, not letting anyone see what's really in my heart." For fans who had always admired Ken for his calm, collected nature, this was a moment of truth. The confident, charming star they had come to know seemed to disappear in favor of a man who was struggling to reconcile with his own heart. He spoke not as a celebrity, but as someone who had been hurt, someone who had closed off his emotions for fear of getting hurt again. For the first time, Yaman was showing the world the rawness behind the celebrity persona. "I've been afraid of truly loving," he continued, his words heavy with regret. "Afraid that my emotions would be manipulated, or worse, misunderstood. So I kept my heart locked away, and it was easier that way." It was the kind of admission that left everyone around him in stunned silence. Yaman, the man who had built a career out of captivating audiences with his charisma and charm, was now sharing his deepest fears and regrets. He had kept his emotions guarded for so long, terrified that if he let anyone in, they would take advantage of his vulnerability. It was almost as if he had been running from love his entire life, unwilling to risk the pain of a broken heart. And yet, in that moment, there was something undeniably human about him. He wasn't just a famous actor anymore. He was a man, someone who had loved deeply, lost, and was now admitting the emotional toll it had taken on him. "I've always distanced myself from those who tried to get too close," Ken continued, looking down at his drink as if reflecting on the truth of his words. "But now I realize I let true love slip away because I was too afraid to be vulnerable." It wasn't just about fear of the unknown. It was about the scars from the past, the relationships that had failed, the trust that had been broken, and the deep-seated belief that love was something to be feared rather than embraced. Ken admitted that he had pushed people away, even those who truly cared for him, because he was afraid of being hurt again. Among the most revealing moments of the evening, Ken spoke about a past relationship that had been the most significant in his life. This was a love he had tried to keep out of the public eye, but it was clear that it still lingered in his heart. His voice cracked slightly as he spoke of her, and anyone who was listening could feel the weight of his emotions. "I don't think she'll ever know how much I loved her," he said quietly. "But every time I think about her, my heart still races. She's always with me, even if I don't say it out loud." For anyone who had followed Ken's career, this was a shock. The heartthrob actor who had kept his personal life a mystery was now admitting that there was a love, one that had marked his life in ways that no fame or success could replace. He had loved deeply, but it was a love that had slipped through his fingers, and the pain of that loss had stayed with him ever since. In those moments of honesty, Ken made a promise to himself. He wasn't going to let fear rule his life any longer. He was ready to open his heart once again, but only to the right person. "I want to love without fear," he said, his eyes bright with a mix of vulnerability and hope. "I want to feel everything without holding back. I know now that I have to learn to trust, to give myself completely if I want to find happiness." As Ken continued speaking, it was clear that this wasn't just a drunken confession. It was a breakthrough. For the first time in his life, Yaman was ready to face his fears and take the risk of love. He was ready to embrace the possibility of happiness without the fear of being hurt again. Fans, of course, were quick to react. Social media exploded with messages of support, admiration, and empathy. People who had always seen Ken as the perfect, untouchable star now saw him for what he truly was, a man with emotions, with fears, and with a past that had shaped who he had become. Many fans shared their own personal stories, opening up about their struggles with love and vulnerability. It was as if Ken's admission had created a ripple effect, encouraging others to open up and confront their own emotional battles. The feedback was overwhelming, and for many, it felt like a cathartic moment, not just for Ken, but for everyone who had ever struggled to let their guard down. But Ken's drunken revelation didn't just ignite an outpouring of support. It also sparked a conversation about the pressures placed on public figures. Celebrities, like all people, have the right to experience love and loss without being judged by the public. Yaman had been brave enough to step outside of the carefully constructed persona of a heartthrob and reveal his raw humanity. And in doing so, he reminded the world that fame doesn't make someone immune to pain. It makes them more vulnerable to it. As the night came to a close, Ken left the gathering, his gaze lighter, his heart perhaps a little freer. For the first time in years, he had spoken his truth, and it seemed as though something inside him had shifted. The man who had once feared love was now ready to embrace it fully, with all the joy and risk that came with it. Yaman's drunken revelation wasn't just a moment of vulnerability, it was a turning point. It marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for Ken, but for his fans as well. In his raw honesty, Ken had given us all permission to be vulnerable, to love without fear, and to embrace the unknown. As we reflect on this moment, we're reminded that even the stars we admire most are human, just like us. They feel, they hurt, they struggle, and they yearn for connection. Yaman's revelation was more than just a celebrity gossip moment. It was a reminder that we are all in this together, navigating the complexities of love and life. What do you think of Yaman's emotional revelation? How did his honesty impact you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more celebrity updates. Thank you for tuning in to magazine news and gossip. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.